Hi everyone, welcome to our channel Code Chasers. I am Madhulakshman Antiketi and this is the very first video in our playlist Object Oriented Programming Concepts in Python. First of all, what is OOPS or what is Object Oriented Programming? Object Oriented Programming means it's the way we organize the code which involves classes and objects. So what are here classes and objects? A class is a blueprint out of which we can create objects, out of which we can form objects. Okay, what is that actually? So I'll take a simple example. Okay, so if we want to construct a house, we need a blueprint to construct it, right? Blueprint in the sense, what is a blueprint? Blueprint is a paper actually where we put our plan to construct a house. That's we generally call it as a blueprint, right? So we need a blueprint to construct a house. You agree with that, right? So is it only that we can construct only one house from one blueprint? No, we can use that blueprint and we can construct n number of houses, right? So like the same way, class is a blueprint out of which objects can be formed, out of which objects can be created. Like a house blueprint is a blueprint out of which we can construct houses. Class is a blueprint out of which we can create objects from it. Okay, so first of all, hey Madhu, why we have to create a class? Why? What is a blueprint? What is the need of creating objects out of the class? See, the beauty of this object oriented programming, or the beauty of constructing a class or building a class and creating objects out of it, the beauty of this whole topic, you will be learning it or you will be knowing the actual essence in our next videos. Okay, as of now, you please go with the flow, or you please try to understand the topics. Okay, class is a blueprint here out of which we can form an object. So what is an object? Object is an instance of a class. What is instance here? It's an occurrence. Okay, for suppose I'll take a class bike. Okay, so bike, you can take it as a class and I'll create a object out of this bike class. That object name is KTM. All you all know that it's a bike, right? So and I'll also create another object which is Royal Enfield. It's an another bike. So you may understand, like class is actually a kind of blueprint out of which we manufacture a bike. So by following the footprints or by following the blueprint which is there in that class bike, I have formed KTM bike and I have formed Royal Enfield bike. So now here KTM has its own specifications, like Royal Enfield has its own specification, but they've built out of one particular blueprint, that is bike. Okay, they came from one roof, like that is bike. Okay, but KTM has like its own features or its own specifications. Those are very much different compared to Royal Enfield. So what I want to say here is, see, class is a blueprint for creating objects or forming objects, but those objects can have their own specifications, their own like specialities. Okay, so this particular concept we will see clearly in our coding section. Okay, now I'll start building a class or creating a class. Okay, so for that I'll use a keyword named class. Okay, class space class name. So you can give any name you want. Okay, so I am interested in bikes, so it's easy for me to convey a concept called class through my favorite concept, which is bikes. Okay, so I'm taking like class name as a bike. Okay, so I am starting my class is similar to starting a block. Okay, to start a block, what we will do, we'll give the block name and then colon, and we will follow the indentation of 4 spaces to let Python know that we are starting a new block. Similar here, we will follow the indentation of 4 spaces and then we will start writing the code. By this, Python will know that from this line, whatever we write falls under a class bike. Okay, so I'll give some variables. Okay, name, any variable name, I'll write it as like KTM So I'll write it as a gear, like I'll give another variable as gear. I'll give it as like 5. Okay. No, now I'll write as like top speed, another variable. Okay. So I'll give nothing. Okay. I'll just leave it. Okay. So this is a class actually. Okay. This is a class. Class is a blueprint now for creating objects, right? Now, what is an object here? Object is an occurrence of a class, instance of a class. Here we have a bike, right? So now I'll create an object from this class. Okay. Let's say I'll create an object named bike1. So now here I came out of this indentation. That means I ended the class here. My class is ended here, okay? Because I came out of this four spaces, right? I came out of these four spaces and I'm starting writing at like initial point of this line C, right? Line 6. Okay. I'm starting from starting point. I'm not leaving any four spaces. So by this Python will know that by line 4 class got ended and I'm writing a new code. Okay. So I create a new instance that we call it as object. Let's say bike1. Okay. Bike1 is equal to bike. This is how we instantiate a class. What is meant by instantiation? We will see it in our next videos. Just you observe that I am creating an object. How to create an object? So to create an object, we have to like instantiate class. Okay, we have to instantiate class by this way. Okay, class name, and we have to open and close curly braces. Okay, so sorry, small braces. Okay, and now we can access the attributes of this class bike with the help of this object. How? If at all I write bike1 dot name, and we will see what it will print. Okay, print bike1 dot name. So we can access that. As per my expectation, it should print KTM. So we can access those attributes which we declare in class by using object, and this is the convention how we can access that variables, like object name dot the attribute name. Here I am using a word attribute, right? The variables which we declare in class are called as attributes. Okay, now if at all I want to access gear, I will use the same convention, bike1 dot gear. It will print 5. Okay. Okay, and like I can also set the attributes. Okay, I can also set the variables which were declared in the class. So how will I set? You see that bike1 dot, here top speed I didn't give anything. So top speed I'm going to give like bike1 dot top speed is equal to, let's say, 220 or like 200. Anything is like fine. Now I had set a value to the attribute which I declared inside a class. Okay, I declared top speed inside a class. Now I am setting that attribute with the help of object. Okay, like we will see, we will print and see whether whether the variable or attribute is properly set or not. Okay, I am just printing bike one dot top speed. Okay, now I'll execute the code. Now we can see the attribute has been set to 220. Okay, this is a simple example to show how can we create a class, what is the syntax of a class, and how can we create an object out of a class. Okay, we can also create n number of objects. Okay, I'll create an object 2. Okay, let's say bike 2. We have to follow the same convention that we followed while creating bike 1. Okay, bike 2 is equal to bike, again open and close small braces. Okay, if at all I print bike 2 dot name, the attribute which is there in the class, so it will print the attribute again. Before this I'll give a notify, or I'll just ensure that this belongs to object 2. Okay, object 2. Okay, comma bike. dot bike2 dot name. If at all I print that, see this KTM got printed with the help of object1 dot name, that is bike1 dot name, and this KTM is got printed with the help of object 2, that is bike 2. We have created two objects here. Okay, likewise we can print other variables also for object 2, that is bike 2. We can print gear also, bike 2 dot gear, bike 2 dot gear, so it will print 5. Okay, we can also set again. Okay, we can also set again bike 2 dot what do you call, like before this I'll set the attribute. Okay, bike 2 dot top speed is equal to 200, I'll set. Okay, so I'll print this. Okay, now we will see what it will print as per my expectations, as I am printing the attribute which is corresponding to object 2. Okay, it should print what it should print, 200 here and 220 here. As far as object 1 is concerned, it should print 220, and as far as object 2 is concerned, it should print 200. See, object 2 it has printed 200, object 1 it has printed 220. See, by this I just want to say that we can create n number of objects from a class, and we can access the attributes or the values that we declare inside a class with the help of objects that we create. Okay, so this attributes like mentions the behavior of bike 1. Okay, so if at all I want to, so I'll tell you like just one example. Okay, I have created here bike 1 and bike 2, two objects. Okay, so this details top speed is concerned to bike 1. Okay, here that bike 1 speed is 220, here top speed is 200. This details are corresponds to bike 2. I have two bikes, like two objects, and each bike has its own specifications, right? Each object has its own behavior, own specifications. Okay, if at all I have a KTM bike, it has its own specifications. If at all I have an Enfield bike, it has its own specifications. But these two bikes have like come from or created from like common blueprint called as clash. From that blueprint we have created KTM bike, from that same blueprint we have created Enfield bike. Okay, many people say that KTM bike is like very far different from Enfield. Here just I'm trying to convey the concept. Okay, from a class called bike, from a blueprint called bike, we have created a KTM bike, we have created an Enfield bike. Both are bikes only, but they have their own specifications. Okay, see, I hope you understood the basic concept of a class and object, and how can we create a class and how can we create an object from the class. Okay, this is all for this video. In our next video we will come up with another interesting topic of oops. Till that, thank you so much. If at all you found this video useful, you please subscribe to my channel, and you please share this video to those persons who are willing to learn oops concepts in Python. Thank you so much.